Have you ever wanted to be a genie? Alright, cut the music. Today class, we'll be talking about Shantae and the Seven Sirens. So to begin, Shantae and her family travel to a place called Paradise Island, aka Siren Island. What could possibly go wrong here, guys? Gang, need I tell you, there are 4 half-genies on this island. What could they possibly have been thinking to gather them? That is, unless they're an enemy who wants them to all gather in one place. Now, anyways, they are all here for a half-genie festival, which, like I said, is a pretty stupid idea to go to. But guess what? We're the first ones to arrive, and we're not even from this island, which the other half-genies live on. So, were we the first to get the invitation or something? Like, what was this mayor thinking? All I'm saying is, this mayor is suspicious. He might be up to something. So, of course, the mayor sends the literal tourist to find the rest of the half-genies. Anyways, you find the first one. If you go straight to the right, she tells you basically just to go save your game and you can unlock her. I mean, that's kind of hassling. Like, let me live my life. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, her name is Harmony and she is also the oldest half genie. So anyways, we find the other 3 and wait.
Pause! What is that?
Gang, now I may be fooled by the mayor, but this is for sure not a half genie. I mean, dog, she's wearing more clothes than half of us. Also, before we continue, I need to correct something. Not all of the half genies are from this island. Actually, I misread something in the game, but I'm not gonna fix that because I spent too many hours doing that. Still, most of my point still stands because at least one daughter lives on this island, and we, the foreigner, the last one to arrive, were waiting. What type of bullcrappery were they waiting for? After we gather the other half genies, the mayor wants to talk to us about the beginning festival, and then we finally go and meet up with them to prepare for it. A key thing I forgot to mention is that the mayor told us to improvise in front of a live audience of his own civilians. He told half genies to improvise. So now we're a little nervous because we haven't had any practice, and the dumb mayor just said, guys, just go out there and improvise. You're half genies after all. Alright, hold on, let's keep this PG. So as you could have predicted, they all get kidnapped except for Shantae, which I think is our sign to go ahead and book another flight back home. The next morning, Shantae is arguing with her family and friends to go help the other half genies, and her family and friends take my stand on this, which is, let's just relax. But they're not all the way on my side because I would have dipped out on the first sign that something bad was happening. Anyways, I sadly digress. So after all of that, Shantae decides to sneak away, and so we go straight right and we follow the path. But first I have to talk about something. The enemy design in this game is probably the most annoying enemy design I've ever dealt with. Those spiders, the reappearing enemies, basically every enemy in this game is there specifically for your annoyance. Now anyways, continuing down this path, you'll eventually come across Risky Boots. And basically she unlocks one of those pipe things. Basically they lead to underground sections. And after she does this, you continue down and eventually if you find, to my dismay, a dungeon. Wait, hold on. This island is called Siren Island, and Shantae just went into a dungeon. Now, if my brain isn't working correctly, wouldn't that be linked to a siren? So anyways, when talking about dungeons, I'm gonna keep it brief because I don't like siren. All jokes aside, in dungeons, there's usually like 3 hearts, and for this dungeon especially, I'd advise you to get all 3 hearts, find the half genie in here, and then leave the dungeon and find the extra heart over there in the where you found the other genie. I'll show you on screen, but you need 4 heart squids to make a new heart, so I'd advise you to do that. Other than that, there's also 2 keys you have to collect by defeating these odd fish guys. I can't even describe them. They're like crabs, I think. I don't know what they are. So after you find Plink, against our better judgment, Shantae decides let's fight the person who captured her, and we're forced to fight our first siren. Oh yeah guys, my bad, I forgot to mention there's a small scuffle with Risky Boots before you save Plink, but better late than never, right guys? Right?
Try!
Before we continue, I'm gonna tell you, this boss is literal cancer. Like, this is the worst boss fight I've ever played in my life. Like, the boss is genuinely one of the most annoying boss I ever fought. Like, there's a mechanic basically where there's like a light and you have to press a button to get her all the way across, but she's throwing spikes and stuff at you. And this game, you probably can't get it perfect unless you're like a completionist or something. It's just genuinely annoying, and I had to get that out of my system. So on your return to Arena Town for the hearts, also buy a bunch of healing items. Like I'm telling you, max out on healing items and max out on magic items, just in case you have magic spells or something. So after that, Plink basically tells us about fusion stones, which allow us to access more of her power and fuse our powers together. So that's cool. And basically she sends us out to find it, but didn't we just save you? Like, you could have just did that for us. You find the first one by going straight to the left after you get to Arena Town, and you'll go to Bolo's hut. But first we have to talk about how they have my man Bolo sleeping. He is sleeping in a hut at the edge of the whole island. And like, to get here, you have to go through dangerous stuff. And then bro, they don't even let this nigga see no hoes. Like, he's seeing no hoes. And Shantae sitting here taunting him by asking, oh, do you see ladies in the pool? Like, shawty, it's no ladies around here. The other one is far right. You should have unlocked that new power, which allows you to get up the giant wall and keep going far right. So anyways, after collecting the 2 stones, you take them to this lady and she turns them into a fusion stone, which you then take to Plink. So after that, you want to go to the place where you first met Plink, and then you want to use the new ability, the dance ability, to reveal 3 platforms, which will lead you to the next town, which is Tree Town. Now in Tree Town, we meet the chief or mayor or whatever he is, and basically he's distressed because his daughter, which is Vera, disappeared, and he says to go dance right now because I don't know. So we go and dance because he asked us to, and then we meet back up with the chief after the dancing lady says, oh my gosh, you gave us hope. So she tells the chief, I gave her hope. This situation is just way too confusing. Anyways, let's just get on with the story. Also, I forgot to mention, he gave us a strange object, which is basically a key to another underground area. So we venture forth, and then we find our uncle, who is across like a little wall thing, and he gives us a, let me get this right, he gives us a valve. Unc, why do you have this? So with the good question out of the way, let's go back to doing stupid things. And our first order of stupid things is using this valve handle to raise the water level so we can access the next dungeon. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait. Now, like I said, I'm not going to delve too much into dungeons because dungeons are really straightforward, but I will explain this one a little bit. Basically, you just have to search for like 3 or 4 keys throughout the whole thing, and like, you know, to unlock special doors, unlock more keys, doors to more keys, not unlock more keys. I'm not stupid. And yeah, that should be it. Also, honestly, if I'm being honest, the risky boots part is actually harder than the main boss of this section, so you don't really have to upgrade your hearts unless you really struggle with the risky boots part. But I would just advise just straightforward in this one because it's a pretty simple boss fight, and the other ones are just way more annoying like the previous one. After this, we meet this weird scientist outside of the dungeon right where you just entered the underground area, and he basically tells you if you get a 6, I don't really know what they are, I think they're like shells, that he'll give us a reward. And basically after gathering all 6, you get the reward. And he's also disappointed because they're not mermaid shells or whatever he was looking for. Luckily for us, this turns out to be Vera's lucky amulet, which also counts as a fusion stone, so now we can fuse with Vera. And also it gives us the power to like heal things and bring things back to life. Remember that scientist lady from earlier and the other scientist dude that we just met and found all the mermaid shells for? Well, they know each other. They also know the other scientist dude across the map who was sleeping on the job. I may add, like, fire this dude. Well, anyways, after waking him up with the new power, we can access the metal fish, which allows us to go deep down under, which I don't really know why we would want to go there, but hey, I mean, I guess it's a free access. During our ride down, Squid Baron attacks us, and when we get out, he says he was trying to get our attention. You shook the metal fish, and you were trying to get our attention. Honestly, that's one of the dumbest things since olives on pizza, which if you like, you might have one of the nastiest tastes on the planet. Like, olives on 99% of things take away the taste. They're just like onions on burgers. Eventually, we encounter Squid Baron again, and he tells us to gather 3 Dagron balls. Did you misspell dragon? Squid Baron unironically accidentally avoiding a copyright claim is the smartest thing I've ever seen. So after, or in my case before, hearing that information, you go find and fight 3 enemies which use that power you just gained to revive and defeat, which kind of defeats the purpose of reviving them. But they're to differing annoying degrees, and the last one is definitely the most annoying. So anyways, after giving them the Squid Baron, he moves out of our way and we are at a new dungeon again, to my dismay. But like Mike Irvin said, you either run that route or we go back to the ghetto, so we go into the dungeon, sadly. Now this dungeon, like the other ones, you require keys to get around, but along with that, there's like simple puzzles like red-blue puzzles. The new power-up also plays a pretty important part in traversal, especially if you want to find that other heart squid. And also it's just better for like exploring broken walls, quote unquote. And also like getting into cannons and for a cannon puzzle later on. But let me back up, I skipped a part, which is the boss fight with Risky Boots, which is really the same. What I really need to go over is that she said she would steal the sunken city. Enlighten me, how on the planet Earth will you steal a whole city? Especially since you're a pirate, where are you gonna put it on your ship? Like, what type of treasure is a city? How are we gonna sell it? Who's gonna say, that's sunken city, yeah, I'll buy it. Anyways, after defeating the boss I'd rather not talk about, you go on to talk to Zapple. Now Zapple is the first one to actually quiz us on why we didn't get captured. She then basically tells us to meet her in Arena Town, which with our new ability we can now go to. So after arriving in Armor Town, I headed straight to Armor Baron's hut. Well, it's more like a steel room than a hut, but still. And basically we're like, dog, he's suspicious, but they say, no, I'm not suspicious, and Shantae and Sky believe him, but Sky believes him because she thinks he looks good, and Shantae's just stupid, as we've learned so far. So anyways, he also gives us like a letter to deliver to the mayor in Arena Town, and we take it to the mayor. Bro, we know neither of y'all is trustworthy, like we trust neither of y'all. Also, quick get rich glitch, go to this guy and he will buy your extra cards so you can get more money, and that's how I went from like, I don't know, to like 800. Most of which all was spent unwisely. Now all of that was just me getting sidetracked, so let's actually go do what Zapple told us to do. So we coincidentally go into the room right under Armor Baron's room. Zapple explains how she still doesn't trust us, which makes sense and that's all cool, but she says to gain her trust we have to get a fusion stone.
You say the dumbest shit.
This takes us deep underground where we find a ghost skeleton who says that we're not trustworthy unless we find something. And then she just randomly gives us a fusion stone, so I don't know what was going on in her head. Either way, we take this fusion stone and we give it to Zapple, and we fuse our magic, which gives us spark dam. This allows us to like awaken broken machinery, which you will see scattered across the map. More importantly, this can be used for those old wind turbines to push away like the giant dune of sand. Now, once you find your 3 gold ores, you can take these to Armor Baron and he can make armor. Now of course this turns out to be a trap, and he just used the armor to keep us stuck in place and sell us as action figures, and guess who bought us? Squid Baron. After successfully rage baiting Squid Baron, me and Sky finally escape, and I might add too easily. Like there's one defense room and then we just get out of there really too easily. Squid Baron, upgrade your security, dog. After this we obviously return and press up on Ammo Baron. We low-key end up pressing him so hard that he pays us. After which you quickly play pass around to eventually earn the doll that the ghost lady skeleton wants. After giving it to her, she moves out of our way. But couldn't we have just walked through her? She is a ghost. Anyways, this leads to another dungeon. So this dungeon and the next dungeon are really short. I can't remember anything about them. The only thing I can think is they put all the annoying stuff in the front of the game, so now they just didn't know what to put at the end. Anyways, this dungeon is really simple. It's like 2 puzzles, and then after you get the power up, it's just a traversal dungeon. But as you know, before you get your power up, you can have the same old scuffle Risky. She doesn't even really say anything of interest this time.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer. Try!
Anyways, we defeat the boss and are on to finding another fusion stone. Yo, did the game developers forget that there are 4 other Half-Genies and one of them doesn't count? So yeah, there's 4 other Half-Genies, and yet they misused all of them. Like even on the end game, we'll get to that, they're basically on standby. So after saving Harmony, we all have our basic end of dungeon talk. The most important part is that the ghost lady reveals that there's someone on the bottom of the ocean floor who knows where the next fusion stone is. Anyways, we go down there and find a dog lady thing. You'll find out later. Anyway, she tells us about some things that she wants us to get, some more MacGuffins. She also gives us a dog collar which coincidentally contains a fusion stone. But lo and behold, Harmony left, and she follows some voices that the skeleton lady told her not to follow. What are we doing following strange voices at her big age anyway? So we find Harmony, And I'm pretty sure she's hearing voices, but the only voices I'm hearing are the ones telling me to put this game down. Sadly, continuing, we go on to meet the dog again, and she gives us a power rod that is drained after returning the 2 bracelets we also found along the way. After this, we immediately go free a dumb scientist who could have freed himself from a room which the switch was right behind him. But hey, he did recharge the rod for us. We use this rod to go down and go down. But I did also forget to mention that this spirit dog thing is also actually a guardian genie. Yep, let that sink in. So anyways, after going downstairs, we eventually reunite with Sky and those weird scientists. Oh, and Bolo's there too, I guess. So anyways, you enter the dungeon and first you're hit with a time trial mission. After that is the risky boots fight and then the power up. And because the dungeon is incredibly short, right after that is the boss. Alright, let's compare. Let's show this map to one of the beginning game dungeon maps. You can tell that they put way less effort into this one than they did a previous beginning game dungeon. But anyways, a big reveal I feel I skipped over is that the genie dog said the sunken city is actually a ship. And not just a regular ship, an airship. I guess I kinda stand corrected, right? Well, either way, after getting out of the dungeon, some sort of self-destruct activates and we hurry back to Arena Town. Then all of a sudden some strange towers rise from the ground, quite literally. Then another thing rises from the ground, except it's a friendly siren. Now in an interesting turn of events, she was actually on our side and the one who teleported all the half-genies except Shantae around the island. And this is the first instance of the half-genies being useless. There are 4 towers and Shantae has done everything, and there's 4 of them, plus Roddy Tops who was just acting like a half-genie. So, why don't they all just get the tower so we can all just be safe? So after doing all that, the sky ship still goes into the air, and so we have to just confront Risky on the ship. After a long fought battle through this dungeon, we finally meet Risky. And in one final reveal, she reveals that she was working with the final siren to get the ship. They had a deal, I guess. This is why that other siren had to teleport all the half-genies for the deal. And basically Risky gets the sunken city, but she gets betrayed to nobody's surprise. So in a long fought boss battle, we have to defeat the final siren. In 2 fights actually, 2 phases. After we defeat the final siren, the ship starts to fall from the sky and Risky is in danger and everybody escapes except Shantae and Risky, who's getting saved by Shantae. And as everybody's hopeless, they're like, Shantae died. All of a sudden she's swimming in the water below. Yay, everybody lived. Now in terms of how I rate this game, I'll give the game like a 6 out of 10. I think the beginning of the game was pretty good, but the end of the game really showed that they put all their energy into the beginning. Also, enemy placement and boss design really hold this game back in my opinion. The bosses are really kind of annoying, especially the late game ones, and the enemies, they just kind of spawn sometimes wherever, and they're really there just to tick your health down. But that's all for this video. I've been a guy, and please remember to like and subscribe.